up, YouTube? My name is T Banks. I am a strength and conditioning coach, a trainer, and a fitness motivator. I actually provide all of these services through my company, TB Fit, as well as other services too. So really excited to use YouTube as a platform to kind of help provide those services. I've been telling my clients and just family and friends forever, like I'm going to do this YouTube channel for you guys so you guys can get that fitness information on a weekly basis. So finally time to get this done. We're going to put out videos every week. It's going to be a weekly kind of fitness vlog. So get pumped, get excited for that. With that being said, this is going to be my first vlog for you guys, the Athlete's Corner. Okay, so just because it's called the Athlete's Corner doesn't mean that the rest of you guys can't hop in and learn some things about technique with resistance training and just how to move well and just, you know, make sure we're staying healthy, not getting injured. So it's not just for the athlete, even though I am kind of targeting the athlete, okay? So without further ado, let's dive into the first video, breaking down the squat. So, the squat, right? The king exercise that we all know and love, or don't love. But whether you like it or not, you gotta be able to do it well, especially as an athlete. Effective squat form indicates your capacity for strength, okay? So think about somebody that has, you know, they have the knees caving in, they have the shoulders coming forward, you know, because they can't handle that heavy load. You've seen all this in the gym. You've seen people, you know, with their knees over their toes, all the bad things that you've seen in the squat and that you recognize. This is what I'm talking about. And so, if you're squatting that way, you are not utilizing your strength to a level that you really can. What I mean by that is somebody that is a functional squatter, okay, is able to handle that load well without breaking in other parts of their body, okay, right? So whenever you do any kind of movement, not even just a squat, you want to always think about having good posture and making sure that movement is focused on the prime mover, right? So for example, if you're squatting and you start to, let's say, come forward a little bit, your chest is coming forward because you can't sit into your hips as well because you don't have that much mobility and range of motion. So what happens is you see the people cave forward, okay? So that is an unhealthy squat pattern. That is a dysfunctional pattern that indicates to a coach or a trainer that, hey, this person is not strong enough to handle that load, okay? Or they're not mobile enough, or they don't have as much core strength to handle that load. So effective squat form is critical for athletes. If athletes are not moving well, if they are having any of those faulty patterns that you see in a squat, the knees, the feet coming over the toes, the head coming up like that. If you see any of those patterns, those faulty patterns that show bad posture, then that's going to translate on the field. Okay, the court, the track, the ring, whatever sport you're doing, it's going to translate to how you produce force in your sport. And so it is critical to be able to have a good squat form, okay? Not so much lift super duper heavy. You know, football players, for example, they have to actually lift a little bit more to be able to produce high power and high strength loads, and high strength, you know, when they're on their field. But even still, if they're not balanced and stable and mobile enough to handle that load well, they're going to, one, eventually get injured, two, not be able to reach that, you know, what do you want to call it, that cap, that their strength cap, okay? So we want all you athletes out there to be able to reach your strength cap, because that's going to mean that you are maximizing your athletic potential. You know, squatting is important for every athlete. You may think that, you know, oh, I'm not a football player, I'm not a track athlete, I'm a cross-country distance runner, I don't need to know how to squat. Well, I would disagree with that, because squatting is a basic kind of functional, foundational, primal movement pattern that all of us, when you're born, you're going to develop like growing up. So some of the first movement patterns that we develop when we're babies and when we're children is reaching. Okay, so reaching for your bottle, reaching for a ball, right? You're not able to walk yet. You're not able to walk yet, so you have to reach for what you need. Eventually that reach leads to being able to roll over, right? So reaching, then rolling to maybe crawling. Then the baby's able to crawl, right? So that's the next movement that they're able to develop. From crawling, they go into, you know, walking through, in whatever way the baby's able to kind of figure out how to get up on their feet and walk on their own. But, you know, somewhere in that process is being able to squat well as well, or standing and walking. When they're able to do that, they're able to kind of move into the next pattern of picking things up off of the floor. Okay, so picking something off of the floor and standing back up efficiently is squatting. And babies and children are able to do that effectively because they don't have any kind of injuries or anything that are hindering them from just, you know, life, right? So as you grow up, you kind of deal with the pressures and the forces and the impact of gravity. And if you're an athlete, it's even worse because you're getting hit, and you're pushing, and you're putting a lot of forces on your body all the time. So a baby or you know, a toddler is not dealing with those type of issues because they are brand new to the earth. So if you look up videos of kids squatting, they are like the best examples of squatters because they have perfect form. And so this is just an indication, it should be an indication to all of you how important squatting is as a movement pattern. I tend to teach a top-down approach with squatting. That being, you know, you think about what's going on up here first, you know, upper body, then core, and then, you know, lower body, and what's going on at your feet at the very end. So when I get ready for a squat, I break the bar. So breaking the bar means you're thinking about breaking the bar, literally. So you're just kind of pulling down on it, on the bar like so, just kind of grabbing it, gripping it hard, and that actually screws your shoulders down in position, sets your shoulders, packs them down in a nice position, so it enables your upper back to be stiffened. Okay, so stiffening of the back is something that's important for stabilization during the squat. Okay, a weak and wonky back is not going to be good for you. So make sure you break the bar, stiffen the back, shoulders packed down. As soon as that's done, you can kind of just dive on under the bar, right? So just kind of bring your head under while your back stays tight, and go ahead and take either a high bar or a low bar position. So high bar is more kind of sitting on your traps, right? A low bar is a little bit lower, kind of resting on your rear delts. So whichever one is totally fine for you. I tend to do high bar, but really high or low bar kind of depends on your biomechanics, your just, you know, kind of your leg limb length, as well as what you kind of want to target with the low bar being more kind of hamstring, posterior chain, glute focus, and high bar tends to be a little bit more, can be a little bit more upper or quad focus. So just, it depends on what you want, what you're going for, but at the end of the day, as an athlete, just do what's comfortable for you and do it well. Brace the core, lock it in. I always tell my clients, keep the water in the pail, right? So the pail is your hip. You don't want the water to spill out, right? So if the water's spilling out, either this happens or you're doing this. So brace your core, lock in your hips so that it's in line with your spine and your spine's neutral. Keep that nice brace tight, rock hard core throughout the movement, and then you're good to go with the core. Next step is gonna be making sure your feet are gripping the ground. You wanna think about screwing your feet into the ground, right? You're grounding yourself, you're screwing your feet into the ground, right? So spread the floor, or part the Red Sea, as I like to say. Part the Red Sea, you're screwing the floor the whole time. So now that my back, my core, and my feet are kind of set up, I'm nice and braced, my whole body's ready, I'm ready to squat, okay? And notice how I walked out real quick. So when I walk out from the bar, I don't do all this kind of shaking and you don't see any movement, all right? You want to be able to walk out of the rack here in a strong position. So I'm tight, I'm braced, pick it up, take a couple easy steps back, nothing crazy. Don't move this bar so much, that's unnecessary. okay? And then we're ready to go. So, all I want you guys to think about is dropping it low with good posture. Don't think, take out everything that you learned about squatting, like all that extra mumbo jumbo with form. It's just gonna clog your mind. Just keep your position, your brace position, like we just talked about. Drop it low, okay? In a good position. So here we go. So, what I hope that you kind of saw on those couple squats that we did there is that all I was focusing on is keeping my hips kind of on track, right? So there wasn't a lot of shifting in my hips. You didn't see me fall forward, right? You didn't see me use my lower back and fall forward because I wasn't strong enough in my hips. You saw me drop, you can see, you saw me drop straight down, straight down, straight down, straight down, right? My hips didn't go back. My hips didn't go forward. My hips went straight down and then push straight back up in that same position, okay? That's all you gotta worry about. So this idea of healthy strength expression and being able to move through a squat in a strong, healthy way is important to how that, how that translates onto the field. So I'm sure that you guys can kind of pick and choose like who's a good athlete and who's not a good athlete, when you're playing your sport. The good athletes and the ones that move well and the strong and the fast and the explosive ones are probably going to be the ones that are squatting pretty well also. Okay, those are the athletes that aren't leaking force. Okay, that's leaking force. They're able to produce torque in an efficient way. Okay, so torque is just basically force produced in a rotational way. So you want to be able to produce force efficiently on the field. To do that, make sure you're moving well in the gym, particularly in the squat. So the forces that you are producing are not being wasted. You're not leaking. You want everything that you're doing to be used into your movement or into your running, into your blocking, whatever. So no force leaking, no energy expenditure wasting, okay? If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, okay? And go ahead and comment too in the section below. I kind of want to make my vlog series a community for people to ask questions and you guys to reach out to each other. That's how I kind of do things with TB Fit. So leave a comment too, ask questions, and I'll see you guys at the next video, okay? Every Monday I'm posting up these videos. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. TB out.